Why do Americans think shark attacks are more common than being struck by lightning? Why do we overestimate the danger of flying but underestimate the risk of driving? The answer lies in a fascinating psychological trick your brain plays on you every single day. And once you understand it, you'll never see the world the same way again. What's up, everyone? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most powerful cognitive biases that shapes how Americans make decisions every day, the availability heuristic. This mental shortcut affects everything from your career choices to your investment decisions and even who you vote for. Stick around because, by the end of this video, you'll understand why your brain constantly lies to you about probability and risk. So what exactly is the availability heuristic? Simply put, it's your brain's tendency to judge how likely something is based on how easily you can remember examples of it happening. Here's how it works. When you're trying to figure out if something is common or rare, dangerous or safe, your brain doesn't pull up statistics. Instead, it asks, how quickly can I think of examples of this? The easier it is to recall something, the more common your brain assumes it is. And here's the kicker. This system is completely broken in our modern world. Think about it. You can probably name 5 celebrities who died young, but can you name 5 people who lived to 100? Your brain now thinks early death is more common than extreme longevity, even though statistically, that's not true. Let's look at some classic examples that'll blow your mind. Example 1. Terrorism versus heart disease. After 9/11, Americans became terrified of terrorist attacks. We spent trillions on security, changed how we travel, and it dominated our national conversation. But here's the reality check. You're about 1,000 times more likely to die from heart disease than terrorism. Yet which one keeps you up at night? The availability heuristic explains this perfectly. Terrorist attacks get massive media coverage. They're dramatic, visual, and memorable. Heart disease? It's quiet, happens in hospitals, and doesn't make headlines. Example 2. Lottery winners versus bankruptcy. Americans spend over $80 billion on lottery tickets every year. Why? Because lottery winners get media coverage, documentaries, and social media attention. But for every winner you hear about, millions of people lose money they can't afford. Your brain remembers the winners because they're available in your memory. The millions of losers? They're invisible. Example 3. Plane crashes versus car accidents. This one's huge in America. When a plane crashes, it's front-page news for weeks. Every detail gets analyzed. But car accidents? They happen 37,000 times per year in the U.S., killing about 100 people daily. That's like a plane crash every 3 days, but it barely makes local news. Result? Americans are terrified of flying but think nothing of texting while driving. But why does our brain work this way? It's actually an evolutionary feature, not a bug. For 99% of human history, if you could easily remember examples of something dangerous, like bear attacks or poisonous berries, it probably was dangerous in your immediate environment. Your ancestors who paid attention to memorable threats survived. Those who didn't, well, they didn't become your ancestors. The problem is, we now live in a world where the most memorable events aren't necessarily the most common or dangerous ones. We have 24/7 news cycles that profit from dramatic stories, social media algorithms that amplify shocking content, Hollywood movies that distort reality, confirmation bias that makes us seek out information that confirms our fears. Your Stone Age brain is trying to navigate a digital world, and it's getting confused. This bias doesn't just affect your fears, it shapes major life decisions. Career choices. You hear about tech billionaires and think everyone in Silicon Valley gets rich. You don't hear about the thousands of failed startups. Investment decisions. You remember stories of people who got rich from Bitcoin or GameStop, but forget about the millions who lost money. Health choices. You know someone who smoked until 90, so you underestimate smoking risks. Or you heard about a rare vaccine side effect and overestimate those risks. Political opinions. You remember dramatic news stories about immigration, crime, or economic issues, which may not represent the actual statistical reality. Relationship expectations. You see highlight reels on social media and think everyone else has perfect relationships, making you dissatisfied with normal relationship challenges. Here's something crucial for Americans to understand. Our media landscape makes the availability heuristic worse. News outlets know that dramatic, scary, or unusual stories get more clicks and views. Local man dies in car crash doesn't trend. Shark attack at popular beach goes viral. Social media algorithms amplify this effect. They show you content that gets strong emotional reactions, which means more dramatic, memorable content. This creates a feedback loop where the most available examples in your mind are also the most distorted. The result? Americans consistently overestimate rare risks and underestimate common ones. So, how do you fight back against your own brain? Here are 5 strategies. 1. Seek out base rates. Before making decisions, look up actual statistics. How common is this, really? Use reliable sources like the CDC, FBI crime statistics, or peer-reviewed research. 2. Consider the quiet majority. For every dramatic example you remember, ask yourself, what about all the cases I don't hear about? Most people who start businesses fail quietly. Most relationships end without drama. 3. Diversify your information sources. If you only get news from social media or cable TV, you're getting a distorted sample. Read different perspectives, check international news, and follow data-focused sources. 4. Use the outside view. When making decisions, ask, what happens to most people in this situation? Don't just think about the memorable successes or failures. 5. Practice statistical thinking. Get comfortable with numbers and probabilities. Your intuition about risk is probably wrong, but data doesn't lie. Let's put this into practice with a scenario every American faces: choosing where to live. Your brain might make you afraid of cities because you remember news stories about urban crime. But when you check FBI statistics, you might find that your suburb actually has higher property crime rates. It just doesn't make the news. Or maybe you're avoiding certain neighborhoods because of memorable negative stories, when the actual data shows they're safer and more affordable than where you currently live. The availability heuristic could be costing you money, opportunities, and experiences based on distorted perceptions of reality. The availability heuristic isn't going anywhere. It's hardwired into your brain. But now that you understand it, you have a superpower. You can catch yourself making decisions based on memorable examples instead of actual reality. Next time you find yourself saying, I heard about someone who, or I saw a story about, pause and ask yourself, is this actually representative? Or is this just what's available in my memory? Your future self will thank you for making decisions based on data, not drama. If this video changed how you think about decision-making, smash that like button and subscribe for more psychology content that'll upgrade your thinking. And here's a challenge. Pick one major decision you're facing right now and research the actual statistics instead of relying on memorable examples. Drop a comment and let me know what you discover. I guarantee it'll surprise you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll explore another cognitive bias that's secretly controlling your life.